Okay. All right. Hi. Welcome back, or welcome for the first time if it's the first video. I'm here today doing a follow-up. I had a request from one of my first commenters asking me to go a little bit more in depth on the HB0604 or 604 from JSAUX, the new Steam Deck dock. I only touched on it very briefly the other day, basically just pulled it out of the box and went over what my immediate thoughts were on it actually being able to work as a suitable deck for Steam Decks, or a dock for Steam Decks that are in the TPU cases. So I'm going to go a little bit more in depth today. Unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to do everything that I'd like to do. It seems, as I mentioned in the last video, when there was the last Linux update, for whatever reason, the IP address will not sync to the internal MAC address on the system to hand over an IP address to work functionally within Linux. Now, I know it's a Linux issue because I'm going to demonstrate today that it works in Windows. I downloaded Windows to an SD card and I have it installed in the dock, or in the deck, and today we'll go through and kind of like I'll show you what I can and kind of where I'm hitting some shortcomings, and then give you a little bit of information on the internals, the SSD drive that's in the HB0604 JSAUX dock itself. It says that it is a Lexar 2 terabyte drive, or not terabyte, but sorry, 2 terabyte. Yeah, it is 2 terabyte Lexar, and we'll go into that a little bit more in depth. But first, like I said, I got the request from Grinch Thickums asking me to do a power on test and basically go through, make sure that everything works. So as you can see, we're already up and running in the Steam dock environment. If we go over here to our settings and check out, let's see, controller, nope, go back, general, system, there we are, storage, there we are, that's what we're looking for. Okay, so storage right now is only recording my internal hard drive. The reason why it's not recording my SD drive is because that is formatted to run Windows, and so right now it doesn't even recognize that there's anything there. So let's go ahead and see if we can actually find that 2 terabyte drive. The only way we're going to be able to do that immediately is to go ahead and let's back out of here, and then let's switch over to the desktop. Okay, all right, let me put in my password. Oh, might help if I actually could type in the thing. There we go. All right, function 1. There we are. Yeah, I understand you don't like that. Just let me put in the password, please. All right. Okay. All right. And so this is basically saying authorization is required to mount the hard drive. So we do see that it's there. And let's go ahead and click OK. Drive's mounted. And if we click down here in the corner, we can see right here that the ESD-ISO, that is my Windows drive. And then external right here, 1.8 terabyte free. This would be the drive that we're looking at. At this point in time, if we go ahead and open it in File Manager, you'll see I don't really have anything here. And the reason I don't have anything here is because it's not connecting through the Ethernet port on the deck itself. Unfortunately, those errors that you saw popping up when I was trying to put in the password, I get all the time until this Ethernet connection right here finally gets sorted out. Because it's just sitting here trying to resolve the address. If it can manage to ever do that, it will just show me the MAC address, and let's see, it basically just gives me the MAC address number and one other little piece of information that I can't remember off the top of my head. It's not showing it right now, but it doesn't actually have this full detail list. Like if I were able to get into it right now, which I think the only way for me to do that is to restart the system and have it boot in, and then like it kind of recognizes it, but it's not valid. But point being, if we come here and go into the configuration, I've tried to get it set up. It will not work. The MAC address that's on the device is not getting an IPv4 assignment. For whatever reason, it sees the that's the information that it shows. It will show the IPv6 info, but my router doesn't really deal with IPv6, so like I've got this strange conflict until Linux OS environment gets resolved. Because right now the association, wherever the linkage is supposed to happen in the software for the OS, the handshake's not happening appropriately. Now, it may seem like a bold speculative claim, but as I said, we're in Linux right now. I cannot get an IP address. Let's go ahead and let's just delete this. And then if we make a new connection, create, and we'll just go ahead, and this is just going to be, I'm not putting anything in, so this will just be a standard DHCP pull from whatever information it could glean. And let's go ahead and hit that. And if you look here, it's just going to do the same thing. Well, actually it's saying that we are setting our network address, and so right now it reads that we've got our MAC address info right here. We'll let this see to see if it actually resolves or if it pops up with a error saying that it can't resolve the connection, which is what I continually seem to get most of the time. So that is a little bit of a complication, and I would love to do a video comparing transfer speeds and all this kind of stuff between Wi-Fi versus Ethernet. But until I can actually get this to work in the Linux environment, it's kind of a moot point. I could try to do some of that stuff in Windows, but I don't really, I kind of just downloaded Windows specifically to rule out that the error that I'm having is not a hardware issue, that it is in fact something that happened when I did my most recent Linux update. So I imagine if I did a factory reset and put this system back to the way that it was when I pulled it out of the box and plugged it into the dock the first time that I used a dock, and it showed that I had an Ethernet connection, I think that I could probably do that. I could get away with it. And there's part of me that debates doing that because I don't know really what the benefits of the most recent update are, other than I think it had something to do with, like how the control layouts work and everything like that. And so like there's a lot of things that just, it's a work in progress. I'm not gonna sit here and say, how dare you for breaking this. This is all new stuff. I'm like one of the only few people who's even doing videos on these HB0604 docks right now, which is the whole reason you're watching me. So thank you everybody for paying attention to the only guy who has the, attention of the room by technicality. I do appreciate it. The point being, until we get a little bit more time on the field, so to speak, to work with these things and get to know them a little bit better, we're going to keep encountering different issues. But what we can see here is that it says I'm connected now on our new DHCP Ethernet connection, so let's go ahead and click on that. Don't have any speed. I've got 0 and 0 on my connections, so let's look at our details. And as I said, details showing that we've got a 1 gigabit Ethernet port it shows the MAC address, and it gives the IP6 info right here just below it on the device. Reads out what that is. So that's not too effective. And then right below that we see my Wi-Fi connection, which is going to a access point Wi-Fi that we have. So I don't know if that's causing part of the issue to some degree, with a little bit of confusion, since this is running on a different subnet. But it shouldn't have any effect on the hardwired connection. When I have this shut down, it still won't do anything correctly. So like, let's go and say, all right, let's shut off our Wi-Fi connection, and we immediately see that Google is here, connection Google is here, deactivated. So all we've got right now is just this Ethernet connection. Let's see if we can get online. What do we got here? Restore pages. No, that's all right. I don't think anybody needs to necessarily know what I was working on here. But that's all we're going to get. Sites can't be reached due to, this issue. So I will go ahead and pull this up into Windows, though, so we can actually see that it works. I want you all to know that it is not a faulty device. There is just a break in the most recent software update. So as soon as that can get resolved, please Linux, please Valve, resolve the Linux issue as quickly as possible. I'd be greatly appreciative. I've already contacted their customer support and also JSAUX over the weekend when I was first trying to resolve what the issue was. But once I got Windows installed on there, fairly confident that it is a Linux OS issue that just needs to be resolved, hopefully in the next update. And let's go ahead and just get on to that so we can actually prove that that is the case. And there we go. All right. So what we'll need to do for this to work, we are going to have to start up in our boot menu. So first thing we want to do is make sure that we're fully shut down. So go ahead and click the shutdown button, and come on, robot, do the thing. Okay. Okay, all right, so we're shut down. Now if I just press the power button, it's going to boot back into Steam, but that's not where we're trying to get to right now. We want to get into Windows. So what you'll need to do is hold down on your volume control, and while you've got that held down, you want to click on the power button, and you're going to listen for a little beep to come out of it. So that's why I'm going to be so close to this. I gotta hear it come. So okay, there's the beep, and then it should pop up into our bootloader menu here in just a moment. Takes just half a second, and there we are. All right, let's make sure that we okay. All right, so my Bluetooth connections are not working just yet because they don't actually work until they get into the operating system. If you do put Windows on your Steam Deck, I would just put it on a flash drive so that you don't have to worry about messing with any of the internals, and you can just have it as something that you pop in and out. It's good for doing diagnostics and checking against things. But you will have to install some drivers. There's quite a few people that already have videos about how to do that, so I'm not going to waste your time by adding yet another one of glut to YouTube. But let's go ahead and get logged in here. So we're using the SD MMC card. Go ahead, and when you put the arrow over, you just click on the A button to confirm, and then it'll take a second to do the boot process into Windows. But we should be in Windows in a minute. You can download Windows for free, which if you check out those other videos, they'll tell you how the whole process is. But because this screen is under 9 inches, you can install Windows to Go free of charge. It's just a matter of having a free micro SD card, a USB flash drive, and then appropriate kind of cables to get everything situated together. And then, of course, just the time to do it. And I would definitely suggest keeping a video, if you have an extra screen nearby that you can use to kind of refer to while you're doing it. makes it a lot simpler to do things like that. Okay, well that's interesting. We are booted back into Steam. Let's not, that was not anticipated. So let's go ahead and weird. All right. Power. Try this again. I do apologize. My assistant is a little fidgety, evidently. Okay. All right. So again, go ahead and hold the volume down. Press power. Listen for the beep and see if we can actually do it right this time. You know what it might have been is I might have just hit A without actually scrolling down. In fact, I'm pretty sure that's exactly what happened. So make sure that you actually scroll down using your digital pad when you're here in this menu, because yeah, your mouse doesn't actually work. So SSD, hit A, and now we're actually going to load into Windows. And once we get in there, I'll do a little bit of stuff to confirm that our IP address is valid through the JSAUX deck or deck dock device. All right. Thank you, robot. Hurry up and wait, right? Fun times. I'm hoping at some point this week, when I can either get my IP issue resolved, I will promptly get a video put up as soon as I can, if that ends up being the case. Let's see. Do I have... Oh, yeah, it's going to be a pain. All right, so let me plug in a keyboard real quick. Okay, all right. So, yeah, thank you. All right, I don't care about any of this. Just get it out of my face. All right. Okay. All right. All right. So, thankfully, I've got backups for backups for my backups. All right. Okay, there we go. All right, and we should, thank you, now, okay, good. All right. So first thing we need to do is fix our display settings. Yeah, that's it. Yep. That's totally it. Can I switch? There we are. All right, let's go. hold on. I think I know kind of what the issue might be. Let's go ahead and do that. And all right, see if we can get this set to the correct. Oh, yeah. All right, well, that's gonna be an issue a little bit. All right, external, there's a problem with this drive, scan now to fix it. So unfortunately, going in between these two things, I've got network issue on Linux, and then I've got like just these issues with Windows because it's not really my primary OS, and it could definitely, there we go, this is what we're looking for. We need to switch your orientation. Let's see, my sync settings, change, nope. Okay, well, I do apologize for that aspect, but let's go ahead and look at this network information here that we can. All right, so Google is here. Of course, that's our Wi-Fi connection. Let's go ahead and connect to that. Okay, change adapter options. There we go. All right. So, our Wi-Fi connection right here, we see that I've got the IP 192.68.86.1 for my gateway. The IP of this device is going to be 192.168.86.88, and so that does show that the Wi-Fi is working. But here on the Ethernet, comparatively, we see that it actually has 192.168.1.111, and that IP address I programmed into my router to recognize the MAC address and assign that IP address specifically. So this MAC address right here, 00-0 or E04C683628, is the actual MAC address for the dock itself. But since it is not handing over to Handshake to give that IP4 access in Linux, I have no Ethernet connection over there. But here inside Windows, as you can see, I actually still do have an Ethernet connection. And just to prove that it does work, let's go ahead and disconnect the Wi-Fi. So we're disconnected from the Wi-Fi. We'll even shut off the Wi-Fi itself. Okay, so Wi-Fi shut off. So we absolutely, let's go ahead and disable. All right, so disabled Wi-Fi, and then Microsoft Edge is the only browser I have on here at the moment, because like I said, I installed this onto the SD card just to verify whether or not I could get an Ethernet connection. And there we go. Let's go ahead and go to my Plex server. And much as I'd love to play something, I really don't want to get hit with a strike. But it looks like it navigates good and well. Leaves Butthead Do the Universe. Great movie from this year. If you get a chance, definitely check it out. Their new series is great as well. And also, I would be remiss if I didn't say, check out Cyberpunk Edge Runners. But, as you can see, internet does work. We'll go ahead and we'll just click into the screen. I'm not actually going to click on the stuff. But, totally got it there, ready to run whenever. And we could just hop around basically anywhere on the old interwebs right now. Yeah. So Apple TV all works. So the Ethernet connection is good, but as I said, until it gets resolved on the part of Valve making sure that the OS operates correctly, I'm not going to be able to do a comparison of downloading a file through Wi-Fi as compared to downloading it through Ethernet inside of Linux. I could do that here in Windows, but I'm running Windows off the SSD drive itself, so it's already running at a slower bandwidth, so to speak, or not bandwidth, but it's got less access to resources as the actual onboard SSD based hard drive does. So at this point, the best thing I can really do is kind of go into what I found interesting on the dock itself. It has the Lexar 2 terabytes hard drive that I was talking about, and so I wanted to do a little bit of research on that so I could kind of go over that stuff with you guys as well, so you can know a little bit more information. But I couldn't find information on specifically the Lexar. Let me go ahead and get that in the right thing. On the Lexar drive, because evidently the Lexar drive that they put out, there we go, make sure you are in the right screen. Alright, don't be a pain. Alright, so yeah, this is the hard drive that was included in my dock, and it is a 2 terabyte NVMe or NM610 PRO M.2 22080 PCI G3 by 4, so it's a generation 3 4-channel bandwidth drive, so it's good in that regard. The SSD will give you a higher bandwidth for sending information than you can get out of the SSD drive. It's about twice as fast. It goes up to 900 megahertz, where I believe the SSD here is running 480, because I'm not running the A2 spec. I could be wrong on that stuff, but to my understanding, because it's not the actual inboard internal pathways, it takes a little bit of time because it has to do handshakes and all this kind of stuff on the virtual one. But anyways, so about this drive, I went and so decided I was going to at least try to pull up the spec data so that we could all kind of see what that's about. And at least then I could have a little bit more information for you, other than I'd like to do a video, but I can't do a video. And so, here we go. Oh yeah, there we go. All this stuff swapped on me. All right, so this right here is what the drive looks like from the company. And so when I went to look for information, I couldn't find anything that was here in America. The only thing I could find was a listing for Chinese websites. So not to say that it's not an official drive, it's just I don't know that it's officially available here in America, but it is the drive they use. And I actually did find what seems to be legitimate information on the drive, but as I said, I just don't believe that it's available in America. Because when I went to Lexar's website to find information on it, it had a 256, a 512, and a 1 terabyte, or yeah, sorry, a 1 gigabyte storage size. Man, so many little acronyms throwing me off. But it showed those 3 sizes, did not show the 2, and so that's when I started looking to try to figure out what was going on with this whole thing. Yeah, 2 terabyte. Getting confused. So many numbers the way they change. But this is the information that I could find on it. Basically, you know, it just took me to this page right here. But if nothing else, this page, at least we kind of get a good shot of the drive itself right there. And then I found this article, and I post the link to the article in the description, so that way you guys can go read this thing. I don't want to read it to you, but if you want to go into it, this goes into a breakdown of their own benchmarks they did on the drive. From what I can tell, the drive does work. It's just I'm having the issues right now because it's not functioning directly in Linux native for the Ethernet port, but the hard drive shows up there. But because the hard drive was formatted inside of Linux to work for Linux, whenever I go into Windows, it breaks associations and it gets all weird and screwy. So it's like one of those things right now where, you know, this is such a new environment. We're all just trailblazers here. Anybody that's kind of messing with it and figuring things out. I learn stuff all the time from other people's videos, and I hope that you people that are watching this are at least finding some value and entertainment in the information that I'm trying to provide here as well. And I would say, I guess, you know, I will go further in depth into this when it becomes more technologically feasible. But for right now, if there's anything specific that you want me to test on it, please get back to me and let me know. And I will do what I can to make that possible, or at least let you know where I'm at with this whole escapade of getting the Ethernet port to work again. And hopefully I'll have some more information from Valve in the coming days. I just sent them a message again over the weekend, letting them know that they had me do a boot loop, basically, to try to reset the IP assignments, and unfortunately didn't really do anything at all. So I sent them an email back saying, you know, that didn't do it. This is what my issue is. It kind of clarified it a little bit more. And then after doing that, that's when I saw people had videos on installing Windows to the SSD, and I just said to myself, hey, good technician, let's go ahead and rule out where the problem is. Is it the hardware, is it the software? And I went and I downloaded the OS so I could test against the hardware. Hardware got found inside Windows, which means the Ethernet port is good. It even registers that there's something going on with the SSD drive because it's not formatted for it, but it sees it. So everything technically should work. It's just a matter of getting everything to shake hands and communicate appropriately. So here's the hoping that we can get those issues resolved, because other than that, like, my time with the Steam Deck has been, you know, just a renaissance in my connection to gaming and entertainment in a whole, and just kind of like, you know, where we go with how we kind of involve technology in our lives, and, you know, the ease of use of just being able to like set up a network at your home and being able to basically take it with you in something that's half the size of your laptop. Because that's what I was saying in the other videos, that this laptop has become effectively my home workstation server, and then when I'm out and about, I will be able to have remote access to this system, and I can do that partially right now, but I'm working on getting it to where I can have like a fully internet based remote connection available to me to get in and out of this network setup. And there's supposed to be a way that I'll eventually be able to have the PlayStation be able to connect through the internet right now as well. But until I get the Ethernet port issue resolved, and, you know, I have to do these things kind of in an order of events where it makes sense. unfortunately, some of the stuff, you know, I've got ideas that I'd really like to go into and show videos on, but I have to take care of these issues. So again, thank you for taking the time to listen to me go on about this, and I hope that if you have any more questions or concerns about what I'm putting here, just go to the chats and you know, let me know. I'm small enough channel that I'll probably actually respond to you almost immediately, because that's how this video got made. But I'm rambling, so you all have a wonderful day, and I will talk at you, or talk, yeah, at you actually, yeah, when I have more to actually go in depth on. You have a wonderful day. Talk to you soon.